German tennis star Boris Becker was declared bankrupt in England in 2017. In a bankruptcy case, the bankruptcy trustee takes control of all the property of the bankrupt and sells the property to repay his creditors. Bankruptcy law, to a large extent, depends on the cooperation of the bankrupt with the trustee. The trustee may be aware of assets such as cars and houses in the jurisdiction where he's made bankrupt, but he's unlikely to be aware of assets held overseas. Boris Becker wasn't too keen on cooperating with his bankruptcy trustee. His unusual solution was to get himself appointed as a diplomat for the Central African Republic and declare diplomatic immunity. Diplomats, in theory, are protected from legal proceedings in the country where they're posted. This includes everything from parking tickets up to serious criminal offenses. If Becker was a diplomat on official business, as a sporting attaché to the EU in London, the bankruptcy proceedings would be invalid. At the time, his lawyers said that under the Vienna Convention, their client could not be subject to legal proceedings without the consent of both the British government and the government of the Central African Republic. Unfortunately for Becker, the foreign minister of the Central African Republic denied that he was a diplomat. He claimed that the diplomatic passport was a fake and the signature on it was forged. This was despite Becker having been photographed with the country's president and their ambassador to the EU. The Central African Republic seemed to get cold feet about the appointment after their new diplomat tried to use his diplomatic status to avoid bankruptcy proceedings shortly after being appointed. That was the end of the line for Becker's attempts to avoid bankruptcy by becoming a diplomat. He was forced to hand over his assets, including medals and trophies he won during his tennis career. He ended up being jailed in England for his refusal to cooperate with the bankruptcy trustee. This strategy, on the face of it, may seem bizarre, but in different circumstances it could have worked. Had Becker been appointed to the diplomatic role before the bankruptcy proceedings started, it could have turned out differently. Genuine diplomats do have legal immunity. Had he been a recognized diplomat in the years leading up to his bankruptcy, the court proceedings could not have happened. Had Becker been performing genuine services for the Central African Republic for years, they could not have denied his official position. The reason diplomatic immunity didn't work out for Becker was because he waited until after the bankruptcy problems surfaced before he sought a diplomatic appointment. These things must be planned years in advance. It's possible for anyone with resources to get a diplomatic appointment, particularly if you have something to offer. Anyone who lives in a small country with little diplomatic representation has a better chance of getting a diplomatic post. You should find a country that doesn't already have a diplomatic presence where you live. You would have to fund the consul and provide services to citizens. It would be much easier to become the honorary consul of Belize in Monte Carlo than in London. Even large countries don't have consuls in microstates like Monaco. Don't believe anyone who's selling diplomatic passports on the internet. Those offers are almost certainly a scam. Becoming a diplomat takes a long-term campaign and proof that you can genuinely provide a service to the country. This sounds like work, but for some people the benefits of becoming a diplomat are worth it. If your home becomes the overseas consul for a foreign country, it legally becomes foreign territory. It can never be entered by the authorities of the country where you live. As an added benefit, you'll never get another speeding fine or parking ticket. A normal second passport goes a long way to giving you more options and protecting your freedom. It's a better option for those who prefer to keep a low profile. Diplomatic passports have some great benefits, but they can come at a price, as Boris Becker discovered.